Slab Hub.
Howdy, everybody. How you doing today? Welcome to Slab Hub, Chris's favorite show. Makes him happy in the morning. With us today, our special guest, Mr. Kenny Caps.
Hey everyone,
Caps on
Station.
Comics. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I just come from karate not too long ago, so I'm a little sore, but I feel great.
Excellent. Great. Well, so before we get into Kenny's collection here, since we're all fans of the slabbed comic, I wanted to take a quick moment. Just before this, I was doing an update to crunching some numbers, doing some math, if you will, taking a look at some lead times and figuring out where we're at today to give everybody the state of where are we at today with lead time. So let's say that you shipped a book today to CGC. And for the sake of arguments, you're going to have it cleaned and pressed there. Okay. Just because I want to make it really obscene. So you send a book in, clean and press, slab. No, you're like me. You refuse to pay another $9 or $10 to shave a few days off that time. So when are you going to get your book back? That is the eternal question. So if it's a modern book,
Valentine's Day.
No, actually not so bad. It is still January 2023. Sitting at their current stated lead time is 109 days for pressing or for grading, 187 days pressing.
Sweet Jesus.
And then we're seeing another roughly 8 to 10 weeks to receive your book into the system to begin with. Right. And so I gave it an 8 weeks there, and that's assuming a 5-day work week. Right. So is that an accurate time frame? Well, I have a set of books that was sent in recently, it's just shipped last week. It's on its way back to me. It was sent in for grading only, modern tier, and it took 105 days. So compared to that 109, that's a pretty accurate lead time to what they're at. So January 2023 for a modern book. Now, if you're sending in some Silver Age Spider-Man books or something, so pre-1975, we're looking at a different lead time there. And for that one, Chris, when do you think you'd see your books?
Valentine's Day.
2023 is pretty damn accurate. It's actually President's Day, February 16th, but is based on the date count. But yeah, so February 2023 for that 187, 8 weeks. So that's CGC. Is CBCS any faster? We all keep saying that, well, I'm going to go, or well, not all of us, but a lot of us are saying, well, I'm going to go over there because it's faster. Well, is it? Well, they've obviously been getting an influx of business lately. We've seen, for those of us who have been sending books, I am seeing that it's currently taking anywhere from 5 to 6 weeks to receive books at CBCS right now. Now, they claim that 5 to 6 weeks doesn't count against your lead times, but I haven't validated that via actual observations. So we're going to assume it doesn't. Currently on a modern book, they say it's 17 weeks plus 19 weeks for them to do their pressing, plus the 5 to 6 weeks for receiving. So you're looking at mid-July 2022. So about 5 to 6 months faster on a pre-1975 books, 19 weeks plus the 5 to 6. So end of July, early August. So again, 5 to 6 months faster. Still a long wait to get your books, considering, if you're talking about pre-1975 books there, that you're talking about August and it's end of September now, you're talking about a total of nearly 10 months that you're waiting on those books to come back from CBCS, but versus over a year, was it 15, 16 months? Something like that at CGC. So
yeah, that's like almost a toddler. And that's nuts.
Yeah, exactly. You could get your significant
now it's learning to talk,
have a baby, and
it's
the baby
walking,
be toddling about the house by the time your book gets back. Anyways, hey everybody, let's say hello to some people here in the chat, and we'll get going here. Nas Feast, how you doing? Yes, we are here. We are Legion. Mark, we're hoping Mark might be our guest next week. We'll see. Stephen C, how are you doing, sir? James Willie, our winner. Ooh, he's gone through a dry spell lately. I think he's due. You never know.
Beth is
Joe.
one, so it's all good.
Joe, how are you doing, sir? Glad that you could join us today. Adams Comics, thank you for coming by. Aggressively Relaxing, one of the best names on IG. Happy to have you here. Cat Fan, Comics Man, hello to you, sir. All right. So we've cracked open our noodling of what it takes if you want to get these things. Don't forget, throughout this session, if you have questions about grading or any of the books that you see, feel free to ask them in the chat. We'll be hitting them up here. Kenny's picked out an assortment. What was how did you choose which books you wanted to share with us today?
I picked my most valuable comic books / what I thought people would want to see. I know that we're all fans of the mega titans of the Marvel and DC universes, and a lot of people don't, get to see those comic books a lot. And with every little chip, every stain, every little mark away that keeps it from a 9.8, they're all different, right? And so, you can look right now. I'm following an Amazing Fantasy 15. It's a 1.8. It's for sale on Comic Connect right now, and it's got like 13 days left on the auction. It's at $23,000, and it's a beautiful 1.8. And so I have a 2.0. It looks different. There's foxing in different places and stuff like that. So I figured, maybe I'd show off some of the significant books of history.
Awesome. Now, question, because you make me, when you say you're following, are you just casually observing it, or are you actually a contender in that?
No. I'm using this as a baseline to judge what if I needed shit hit the fan. I got to make some money fast,
right?
Or at least within a month or so.
You have a book of a similar grade. What would you? Yeah. What could you use?
Yeah, and awesome. So because
I've done a few of those.
It's a 1.8. Mine's a 2.0. It's a pretty close copy. So whatever it sells for, I could probably get the same amount if it was an emergency situation.
Easy, quick, right? Yeah, that makes sense. I've watched a few of those. I was just curious because I know sometimes.
Sure. No, I am not a millionaire.
Well, nor am I. But sometimes
I've just made some. I've been really lucky in my purchases. I've been in a lot of situations. It's the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very, very blessed.
Excellent. Phenomenal. Well, in that case, without much further ado, I'm going to go ahead and put you into the proper slot so that we can make you supersized.
All right.
And we'll go to the part here where we're going to sit back and we're going to be entertained. I'm going to even hit the recline button on my chair here.
This is nice.
So we
I'm
can,
not used to this.
So we can sit back and be the peanut gallery. And Kenny, please take us on a journey through.
All right.
Deep into Kenny's stack.
Imagine, if you will.
Ooh, you're
going to see some things you probably haven't seen. But most of these, I expected everyone that's watching will have seen this at some point in their comic book careers. So first one, this is the first appearance of the Shield. It's from January 1st, 1940. Nice. It's my oldest comic book. And this is the first patriotic superhero ever. All right. I love this comic book for many reasons, but the main thing is if you've ever seen Captain America #1, where he's punching Hitler, he has a triangular shield like this. Well, the people at Pep Comics sued Timely and forced Timely to switch to a round shield. So a little bit of knowledge there for you. But yeah, very cool. This comic book will eventually be taken over by Archie. And so, after a while, the shield just kind of gets phased right out.
Right. Oh, that's an awesome book.
I have no idea how much this is worth. I paid like $4,000 for this a couple of years ago. And because they're so rare, I have no idea what to compare it to. It would just be one of those things that if it went to an auction, I would just be at the mercy of whoever was interested.
No, that is exactly it. With it, I mean, because I've been getting my ankles deep in the golden age books and picking up some various different books here and there. It is something where there are so few that on census, and the sales are so infrequent
Yeah.
on them that you can't get, oftentimes you're looking at stuff, well, the last documented sale was 15 years ago. The market 15 years ago is so different than it
Yeah,
is today
exactly.
that it really just becomes a question of, well, how much are you willing to pay for it? Because that's what the value is.
Exactly. Yeah. And you see that on like I've mentioned Comic Connect. They that's like their fine print. It's like, just remember, and it's even I think in the Overstreet price guide they used to say stuff like that. Like, just remember, a comic book is it's worth whatever your dumbass is willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's a fabulous book.
Yeah. Thank you. It's one of my few reserved copies, but totally not uncommon for the Golden Age. Because I was just talking about this with Gary on the Usual Suspects, the hot seat, when Jerry the Jitterbug was on there. And, that's just back in the day, people were told to preserve these, put a little bit of glue on the spine. It's okay to color them because, you're just keeping them from getting too bad,
The market changed, and it's really something that's changed in the last 10 to 15 years.
Yeah.
We've seen from a situation where it used to be the restorations were more desirable.
Yeah.
And then it's become no. All of a sudden, it's like it's almost like we went with cars, right? It's the same thing. It's like, oh no, I want the rusty patina and everything else, and not a restored car.
Yeah.
Really? I don't. I like a restored freaking car, and you know what? I like a restored Golden Age book that returns it to its glory. And so I'm happy to look at when it comes to Golden Age books. If I could, I've looked at a few. I haven't picked up any restored ones yet, but as much fun as it is sometimes to look at a roached out book and know that, look at all that history on it, at the same time, it's not just something about looking up at something returned to its full or as much glory as can be returned to it.
Okay. Yeah. So, I do have some that are restored, and it's either it's the Golden Age, which, like I said, it's not uncommon. But then I have one other one. I just really wanted that that comic book. I wanted that character's first appearance, and I had to settle. It's the only one I could find at the time, and I'll show that one. That's definitely in the stack.
Cool.
In the fat stack.
Nice.
All right, so the
host.
The story continues, right? All right, so we fast forward 16 years. All right, we've gone through the Golden Age, and we're now starting the Silver Age. Right, so. One of my favorite Carmine Infantino covers, right? This cover is just so cool, and it's awesome. It's a 1.8. I'm the king of the low grades, but I paid $6,000, $6,700 for this a couple of years ago.
Presents well, at least on camera.
What's that?
It said it presents well, especially on camera.
Yeah, the reds are a little faded, but I'll take it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a legendary cover. Like, how many times we've seen that quietly homage now? But
yeah, and on
love
refrigerator magnets, and it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep. So I don't know how long you want me to hold these up, or just keep going.
Just keep going. Don't worry.
All right.
Find your own pace, buddy.
All right. Okay.
We'll call you back to put something. We'll tell if you go down too fast. We'll tell you. No. Okay. Chris is especially good at going. Whoa! Can you put that back up there for a second?
All right. Yeah. So continuing in the vein of redefined characters, this is the first Silver Age Green Lantern, and 2.5. It's not in too bad shape. The spine is pretty jacked up on it. I don't know how well you can see that.
Yeah,
but I've definitely seen worse copies.
The thing that I love about that cover is that they really play into the beginning of the Cold War with the random missiles being shot over. I think that's just terrific. They really played into that, the atomic age and the fear of the Cold War, and having the hero play into the whole idea of defending the nation. But that's just that's a for 2.5, man. That looks like a 6.0 from here. I think everyone in chat would probably agree.
Well,
That's great, man.
This is what I love when you look at, and we've talked about it several times that the grade is not all, not all grades are equivalent, right? It's sometimes it's about, okay, something's maybe the spine is all jacked up or the cover is loose from the rest of the book, right? And that sets what that maximum grade you're going to hit is, right? Or there's a dog ear crease that's over 2 inches long up in one spot that's been pressed pretty well, but it does color break. Well, color breaking crease over 2 inches is going to set the limit of how high a book's going to get, but the rest of it can be beautiful. And that, at the end of the day, sometimes is what's great is you can get that lower grade book, but it presents wonderfully. And if you just want stuff to put on your wall and stuff, hey, I'd put a 2.5 first appearance Green Lantern on my wall, a 9.8 if I assuming I could afford it. I don't know. I want to have that displayed for everyone to know that that's kind of stuff I have laying around in my house. Uh-oh. This is how long Kenny can hold that pose.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He's speechless over our insight into this book.
Okay.
So
wow,
this is the filler portion of the show. How you
this
doing,
is a
Chris?
glitch in the Matrix, everybody. I'm good.
There we go.
All right.
Back.
Sorry about that. I was just about to swap over to my phone. I don't know what happened. So, my apologies.
It's
That's
the internet.
Yeah.
No, we were just
All right.
remarking
So
that about your Green Lantern, and that 2.5 is a brilliant number or brilliant grade to have displayed behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rob said, if I had a 9.8, I don't know if I would want that displayed behind me. So everyone knows that I have a Silver Age Green Lantern first appearance in my home.
That's why I use a PO box for all my giveaways and stuff like that. I don't want anybody knowing my address. And I paid like $1,900 for that one, and that was about 4 years ago, and the values just continue to go up.
Yeah.
Luckily, every one of these books, the value has increased. So, yay for that. Next one, first appearance of the Justice League.
Brilliant,
awesome guy.
Another 1 point. Awesome. Like I said, all of these are pretty low grade.
Yeah, but low grade is better than no grade.
Well, not just that, but you have them, right? You can. I have first Jail. I have first Flash.
Blue Label.
I have first this, right? And that, if you're built, depending upon what kind of collector you are, right? Everybody's going to collect differently. Some people are 9.8 chasers. Some people don't want to slab a single book. Some people want to slab everything. Some people just want to collect keys. Some people want to collect runs. And it doesn't matter what kind of collector you are, as long as you're happy with your collection and to be able to sit there and cultivate this kind of history. And that's what I've always loved about your wall. Your wall isn't necessarily all 9.8, 9.6, mint copies, but it's history. All these keys that you have, that is what's amazing.
Yeah. I'm sorry to say, what's up, buddy? I'm sorry, buddy. There was an ice cream truck outside and the kids missed it. Look, I will get you a gallon of ice cream later today, okay? I'm sorry. I'm in the middle of something, okay, buddy? I'm sorry. Damn,
I have one request for that. Now you're holding a very holy grail for those that are hardcore DC fans. That's probably one of the holiest of all the grails that's somewhat in some people's reaches when it comes to financing. But can you read everyone that's on the right side of the blue label? Just let everyone, right there. Just let everyone know how CGC describes the first jail.
Sure. It's first appearance of the Justice League of America, Starro, and Snapper Carr. Now, Snapper Carr is one of the coolest. I'm just kidding. I don't know anything about Snapper Carr. But yeah, it's serious. It's like they're fighting. So the world's most awesome superheroes are fighting a giant starfish in apparently some desert wasteland just outside of the city. I don't get it, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. That's just it, man. Right there. It's just you're bringing the heat. You're bringing the
and I only paid
$1,000
for this.
Yeah, like I said, it's somewhat affordable for a lot of people who who are hardcore DC fans,
I
and
think-
that's a big boy book that's somewhat affordable.
I think I paid
Yeah, so
$3.99
what
for
I
my
used to do,
facsimile.
Yeah.
it's gotten so crazy now. I haven't bought a comic book in months. But yeah, I would find something I like if it was whether it's auction or buy it now on eBay, and I buy it with PayPal credit and I finance it. If you can pay it off in 6 months, it's interest
Oh
free.
yeah.
And
Mhm.
so like with $1,000, I pay $200 a month for 5 months. It's interest free, and I get it as soon as it's paid for. As soon as that balance is down to zero, let's get another one.
Yeah, and
Oh.
that's the key though, is making sure that you do the one. It's some people who might not have control that then start getting carried away. Then all of a sudden,
Yeah, because it can be like gambling, like or any vice, any addiction. It's like gotta get more, Yeah. So, let's keep traveling through time. Okay, so the Justice League, to me, like it's one of the most significant books that has ever come out, ever been published. Because if it wasn't for that, Julie Schwartz in the famed meeting between like Martin Goodwin when he's at golf and he's talking to like the head of DC, and they're talking about like we're back in the superhero business and we did the Justice League. Well, he comes back and tells Stan Lee, I want a superhero team, and Stan Lee was about to quit. And so this is the most significant book of the 60s, in my opinion, because without this, there would be no Thor, no Spider-Man, no Iron Man, no Avengers. Right. And this begins what is $1 billion movie industry. I mean, because of this comic book, fucking Marvel is so ubiquitous. It's everywhere. It's on knockoff T-shirts in DC. But when I was a teenager in the 90s, man, you couldn't find anything like that. And it's everywhere. And it's because of this book. Let the record show that I am not the only one who owns a PGX book. Yeah,
even though Kenny probably didn't send it into PGX to have it graded, but
no, I bought this one already graded because at the time I bought this, and I wish I could remember the year, I paid $4,000 for this, and there was 1.5 CGC for sale for like $6,000, and I'm like, dude, that's $2,000. I'll just go with the PGX. I mean,
at a 1.8, even if it was graded high, how much lower could it go, right?
Exactly. And now you can't even get a 0.5 Fantastic Four #1 for $4,000. Like these things, for some reason, when it's like they started talking about like Emily Van Camp and John Krasinski are going to be like Reed Richards and Sue Storm, it's like, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but like the speculators have driven this book through the roof. Like, and so like, if I ever decide to sell this stuff, I will never be able to afford to rebuy it. Right. It'll never happen.
Yeah. The one thing I can say, the two things I can say on just adding to what you said, Kenny, is a lot of people need to realize how important Stan Lee's wife, Jeannie, was into being part of the foundation of the Fantastic Four by telling Stan, just go write a story for you. She was the one that pushed him in the direction for the Fantastic Four. And the other thing I was going to say, as someone that grew up reading the Fantastic Four, especially Burns' run on the Fantastic Four in the 80s, it is so heartwarming to see finally the Fantastic Four finally getting respect on the secondary market and with collectors, and realizing how important the Fantastic Four is, not to just to Marvel, but to pulp culture all around. Because without no Fantastic Four, like you said, there's no Marvel. There's no pushing of DC back and forth between the two horses going neck and neck for, decades and decades. And the book you're holding right there is my second most wanted grail behind AF-15.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, man,
book
that's a great book, and it's just so relevant. And I'm glad that it's finally getting a lot of love that the team deserves, because when Marvel turned their back on them, in the last 12 to 15 years and took them off the shelf, and there's no FF being written or whatever, it was a shame, because they are a cornerstone of the entire franchise.
Absolutely.
Like, without the Fantastic Four, no Marvel. That's it. Enough said. But again, Jeannie, his wife, is very important to the story of the Fantastic Four. And I always try to let people know, like, remember, Stan was the one that was about to give up on writing, but it was Jeannie that said, write one book just for you. And that was the result.
Yeah, behind every great man is a great woman.
That's right.
But I love this comic book because this isn't a superhero comic book on the cover, at least. This is a monster. This is a horror comic from the 50s. I mean, look how awesome this monster looks. And like, I mean, the Fantastic Four, they don't get uniforms to like 2 or 3 more issues, right?
Right.
Yep.
It's just a great cover. I love it.
All right.
Right?
All right.
Okay. Not so cool, but you know, continuing that same vein of like monsters and stuff, like we get first appearance of Hank Pym. He doesn't become Ant-Man for like another 10 to 15 issues. I can't remember, but I don't have the first appearance of Hank Pym becoming Ant-Man, just this one. But it's just such a simple cover, but it's still kind of creepy, you know, like that's not my worst fear, but I could put that's probably my second or third worst fear is getting raped by an ant.
It's up there.
Yeah.
Look, when I go
number
outside,
2
I'm
fear
looking
is
for
getting
those
raped.
rapist ants.
Yeah. Anyway, so
The
Another-
Tales to Astonish. They have so many important keys in that run. A lot of people don't realize.
with a
The Tales
2-year
to Astonish is just fantastic.
a
And if you wanted
2-year
to go
period.
down that road, it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, this is one of my few reserved or restored copies. And so, okay, I graduated with my master's degree. So I didn't start college until I was like 36. And my wife convinced me, she's like, you go back to college, you get your GI Bill, you go through, get your bachelor's and your master's. I will get you, because at the time I was really big into guns. She's like, I'll get you a Browning World War II like machine gun. So by the time I got to the point of graduating with my master's, I'm like, how about instead of a machine gun, can I just get like a first appearance of the Hulk? She's like, if you can find one at a decent price. So I was on the hunt for a first appearance of the Hulk. Right? I wanted one so bad. And this is the only one I could find. This one, I don't have the price on the back of what I paid for it. But yeah, it was around 5,000. Yeah, 5,000-ish. The next one up, I remember the blue label. The only one I could find was like a 3.0, and it was for like 8,000. So yeah. So here we go. My one few reserved Silver Age. But I love this book. This is another book that is significant as shit because like way more than Spider-Man. Spider-Man was popular and stuff, but like, you know, this book like really brought Marvel Comics into homes of millions of viewers in the late 70s and 80s. People that were not in the industry, like that they did not collect, they did not read. And so like this is just a really awesome book, you know? And Bruce Banner's origin has changed since then. Like obviously his color, he's gray in this, but he's green in the next one. So it's just an odd, strange book, and it's something that's really awesome to get to hold.
I remember hearing something about the coloring was oftentimes associated with the fact there are limitations on their ability to print.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, it was the gray color. They had a hard time getting the gray colors to match.
Yeah.
Kenny, I agree. As a child that was born in the 70s and grew up with, you know, those Friday night CBS shows, and it was Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno that outside of the cartoon world introduced me to the fact that like this can be real. Like Lou Ferrigno was fantastic, and when you have a good character actor like Bill Bixby portraying Dr. Bruce Banner, you know, of course that music.
He wasn't Bruce Banner.
David Banner.
David Banner. Pardon me, David Banner. And you know, he always had that, you know, that eye moment, you know, like you're going too far. But yeah, it was. I agree. It introduced me to the Hulk, and it's for me, it's the reason why I respect the character so much. It's just from like age 4 on.
Yeah,
the Hulk was just a part of my life that way.
Yeah,
my Friday nights.
When I was 3, my third like Halloween, I was dressed up like the Incredible Hulk. Like I loved the Hulk when I was a kid.
With inflatable suit.
No, this was one of those
inflatable when it was.
I cannot remember this designer's name. It's a guy. It's like first and last name. He designed all these classic masks in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, one of those ones.
Yeah,
the vinyl suit with the plastic mask.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Those were the more expensive ones.
Always wanted one of those. My mom wouldn't let me. We had to have homemade suits.
Right, and it came in like its own cardboard box. Right. Yeah. I'm forgetting that man's name. But yes, I know exactly what you're talking about, Kenny. And I got to ask you, is that your favorite superhero of all time then, the Incredible Hulk?
No, Captain America has always been my favorite, but
Okay.
for the longest amount of time, like as far as like even when I was a kid, I loved Captain America and in high school and all that stuff. But as a kid, like when I was real little, I was a horrible kid. I destroyed a lot of shit. And I think it's because I like the Hulk so much, because he destroyed a lot of stuff. So I don't know. I still love the Hulk because there's that thing about just being able to release rage and, you know,
That's the Dr.
there
Jekyll
are
and Mr. Hyde
consequences,
story, right?
you know, but I still love the Hulk. The Hulk is just great. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
To mention the Gary B, the Hammond series was just one season, man. At least the Bixby and Frigno thing went 3 or 4 years. That's why it's a little bit more prevalent in my memories of my childhood. But go ahead, Kenny.
All right. Next one, my most valuable comic book. And so like I'm not necessarily a big Kid Rock fan, but I've heard 2 things from him. It's probably some of the best advice I've ever heard in my life. Number 1 is to never trust a man whose pants don't cover his knees, his shorts don't cover his knees. And the other one is don't play your best song last. Play your best song at the beginning of the set, right? Don't be an asshole. Anyway, so this is my first appearance of Spider-Man.
Jesus.
Chris just came.
I gotta go use the washroom.
Sure. So, like I was saying, I'm comparing this to an auction that's going on right now. The difference between mine and his, and it may just be the way they're skinned, it could be the lighting here too, but it seems like the red on his suit pops just a little bit more. Other than that, like there's some chipping on the side, and mine's not so bad. And like, if you've never heard of the infamous Marvel chipping, it's because Marvel had such shitty publishing company like they were dealing with, because DC owned the publishing company that Marvel had to publish through. And so they got much like worse quality paper stock and stuff. And so they just didn't hold up as much. But anyway, the Amazing Fantasy 15 books are one of those books that have a lot of issues with chipping. So this isn't such a bad copy.
It doesn't matter.
I paid $10,515 for this.
Oh,
so Kenny, when you come down to visit that book, do you light a candle for it and
do you say a prayer?
Because
it's on the wall, like right in this area. It's on the wall, just like all the rest. It's not in any special tomb. It's just right there.
I would have an altar set up to it, really.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, in my house, I do have like this man cave. If you haven't seen my videos, like I have, like it's hidden behind a bookshelf, like Batman, but like there's no pole or anything. So like, not only do I only use like my PO box when I send stuff, but like also like so the man cave.
And for the rest of y'all who are thinking of maybe going over there, it also has laser robotic machine guns set up because although he got a Hulk 1 initially, he did eventually go get those Brownings, and they may be set up there in such a way that if you don't pass the retinal scan, you might become Swiss cheese.
And there's a shitload of guns right over there too. Watch my videos, you'll see my gun collection. Okay. But anyway, I love this book. Like I've told this story a bunch of times. I don't know if y'all ever heard it. It was one of those things that after the Dark Ages, I got back into comic books, and an Amazing Fantasy 15 was the first big buy I ever did. It was one of those things that I started collecting, and I was making some good purchases. My wife's grandfather passed away and left my father-in-law a nice chunk of money. And so my father-in-law was like, if you could invest in anything, what would you invest in? I said, and this is back in 2010. I said, the comic book market is really awesome right now. Since Iron Man came out in 2008, the comic books had just shot up, right? And so he's like, all right, well, he loaned me some money, and I bought, this is my 4th copy. I bought one for $8,000, and then I turned around and sold it at a Baltimore Comic Con for $9,000, like 2 months later. So I made $1,000 just like that. So I took that money, I paid him back some, and bought another AF-15. And I bought them, and I would resell them. The third one I bought, I actually lost a little over $1,000 on it. It was a CBCS copy, and I sold it at auction. So I lost $1,000, and then between eBay fees, I lost like another $800. So it was almost $2,000 that I lost. So I promised myself if I ever found another one at a good price, I would never sell it. So I don't plan on selling this unless it's an emergency, like my kids aren't eating.
Okay, so 2 questions, Kenny.
Yeah.
First, is that the highest grade AF-15 you've ever owned?
No. The first one I bought was a 2.5. And I called it the Zen copy because some idiot had put tape over ZIN and like there was a rip. And so I sold it to Mark Zerzolo from Comic Connect, and he had it on Metropolis Comics website for a long time. As soon as he bought it, he jacked the price up from 9 to like 12,000, instantly. And I remember thinking, who's going to pay $12,000 for an AF-15? But anyway, and then so the
now there's a
second one
line
I
of
got
people
was
out the door with
3.0.
cash in hand going, please, can I?
Yeah.
I'll go sell my car.
Yeah. So the second one I got was a 3.0, and I wish I had that one. But I'm happy with this 2.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. My second question is, the fanboy in me wants you to read like what you just did with that jail book, please.
Yeah, sure. All right. This is a good one right here. Origin and first appearance of Spider-Man, also known as Peter Parker, just in case y'all didn't know that shit. And first appearance of Uncle Ben and Aunt May. And this is the one where Uncle Ben he gets it.
So it's also the death of Uncle Ben, but they don't call that out.
Death.
Yeah. Yep. So it's Uncle Ben, Jason Todd, and Bucky. That was like the rule forever, and I'm
Captain Marvel.
I know they've all been brought back.
Yeah, that's the reason it's really a key. It has nothing to do with Spider-Man's origin or first appearance. It's the death of Uncle Ben. That's why you collect it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All the media outlets were all about, oh my God, did you hear? They're going to kill off Uncle Ben. The rice guy? All right, let's keep moving. All right, so like, okay,
oh my
here's something else. You got to understand, this is in August of 62. This is in August. It's the same.
Oh, no.
Oh. So I'll finish his words. The same year did we not get the Marvel franchise character?
We got the franchise God. 1961 to 1965.
What a run!
But I mean, that's what happens when you start a publishing company the size of Marvel, right? And it survives. Is that happens? I hear him trying to come back.
Yeah,
but the poor guy. Okay,
sorry,
we got you.
We got you, as you said, in the same year.
Yeah.
Yes. What a year.
Yep.
What a book. My goodness.
This is one. It's one of the few. I've got like 3 or 4 books that some kids have drawn on, and if you look right there, they wrote like 6N.
Oh yeah, well,
which isn't too bad. And
I've had worse.
I think that's it.
I own worse.
So I paid $1,900 for this one, and I don't know how much it's worth now.
A little bit more. Little bit more. I can't even joke. A lot more. But yes.
What is Journey into Mystery what?
Yeah. Journey into Mystery 83. And I was pointing out it's got a good bit of water damage at the top. So I've got like 4 that's got water damage. The other 3 are like pedigrees that got wet in a basement and then that got sold at like dirt cheap price. It was awesome. But anyway, so this one's got a little bit of water stain.
Okay, so 1.0.
Yep.
The last sale on eBay on June 28th of this year was $4,850.
Ooh, that's almost double.
Yeah, so the fair market value is listed on Go Collect at $4,900. So
I'll take that.
That's how we do it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Let's keep going.
Yes,
that's incredible.
All right, anybody want to guess who's next?
Okay,
Iron Man.
Yep, booyah! First appearance Iron Man. 1.8, and this is for Chris.
If this was a bodybuilding competition, freaking homeboy here is pulling out like the Shiva 6 arms.
Yeah. So Chris, this was the origin and first appearance of Iron Man, Tony Stark.
Very cool. Very cool.
What's cool about these covers, again, back to Marvel's horrible publishing company, there are multiple different versions of this, but it won't decrease the value. So you can see over here, this finger, over here, boom. You got the quotation marks?
Yes.
And on this side, it's been completely chopped off. All right. So it's not uncommon. It, like I've been told many times, it doesn't decrease the value. But if you can find both set of quotation marks, that's really hard to get. Another thing is some butthole chopped off the bottom of this comic book, but there's a table here, and just underneath it, sometimes you can see a hint of blue ink that's supposed to be under the table. So if you can find a comic book that has both quotation marks and blue under the table, they're very rare. This one, I have no idea if it passed either test.
Yeah, no, there's cool. a lot of that stuff where those Marvel covers are miscut. I even got one recently that came across my desk that I brought into the collection. I thought it was such a massive spine roll. I mean, like half the price was on the back of the cover, but then when I started actually looking at it, realized, but no, it wasn't from spine roll because it was actually perfectly aligned on the open edge of the page. It was just that bad of a miscut.
Yeah,
that's the way.
Now that we're delving into this a little bit, a modern key that comes to mind that suffers that spine roll and a bad cut would be as recent as New Mutants 98, the first Deadpool. There are a lot of first appearances of Deadpool where the front cover is totally out of position and stapled and submitted and still comes back as a decent grade because, as we know, it's not the collector's fault or anything.
It's manufacturing.
And thank God we don't get dinged points for that. But
that's amazing to some degree, depending on how bad it is.
Yeah. I find it amazing that graders can tell the difference between like a publisher cut versus a trimmed copy. You know, like that's crazy. I guess it's just the edge, the way it's worn down or something. I don't know.
And how fresh it is, and how the when you look at her magnifying glass and stuff, and the actual dimensions of the paper, and
all right, let's keep going.
So Kenny, how many do you are we halfway through?
You have to let us know when we get to the halfway mark so we do a giveaway.
Almost halfway. I brought out. No, we are. I think I brought like 22.
All right, why don't you go ahead and do one more there, and we'll pause for a.
Sure. Okay, I'm not going to ask because I don't know if y'all would be able to guess which one's it's next, but we'll just go ahead and say first appearance of Doctor Strange. And I hate that he's not on the cover. There's Paste Pot Pete instead. And who gives a shit about Paste Pot Pete? But yeah, so like Stan Lee thought that
Paste Pot Pete?
Yeah, Paste Pot Pete. Stan Lee was convinced that Doctor Strange was going to be a flunk. Like he was like, just put him in there somewhere. He was just kind of letting Ditko have his thing.
Yes.
And so no cover. His cover is like actually much later. It's kind of like Aquaman. Aquaman he was created in like 40, 41. He doesn't get his own cover to the 50s, like mid 50s.
Whoa. Sorry.
Anyway, I get a little worked up on this stuff.
Okay. So I've never held that book in my hand. Every book that you've shown so far, I've held in my hand, except for the first Doctor Strange. Can you read me the bio that they share for Doctor Strange?
Sure. So it's the first appearance of Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, Nightmare and Wong, and it's the first Paste Pot Pete and Wizard team up.
Well, there you go.
Very good.
See, CGC
arguably one of the most important characters to the continuity of modern day Marvel stories is Doctor Strange, and wow, that's impressive. Not to say what you've shown before isn't impressive, but for you to have Doctor Strange in amongst those holy grails, good for you, Kenny, because I have a lot of respect for the character, and that's a great book.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's going to happen over. I don't want to call it Phase 4, but this new Phase 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
This whole multiverse of madness thing, like I'm so stoked for Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and I didn't think I was going to like the What If shows, but God, they've been awesome. So,
groovy. All right, cool. Let's take a quick pause. Let's go ahead and throw this up here. So for everybody, let's go do no down that. Here we are. All right, for everyone who's playing at home and hasn't seen this before, it's giveaway time. Go ahead and type in, since Kenny is bringing serious heat here, we're going to do #Grail. Go ahead and enter that into the chat. and we'll give you a few moments here to get that in, and we will go ahead and do the random picker and pull ourselves a winner who's going to get 5 pulls from the pool box. And this time, because I'm usually this is Chris's job, but I'm gonna let this is the first time we really had a guest, so I'm gonna let the first pool determinations come from Kenny himself.
Awesome.
Don't worry, Chris, I will let you do the second one so you don't feel like you've been fired or replaced. So
Okay.
I know how much you look forward. It's like the highlight of your week.
It's the highlight of my week,
and it's really and that's really sad, but we love you anyways.
Just a shout out to Beth. Shout out to Beth, who's in our chat.
Oh yes.
You put frail, not grail.
Uh-oh.
And
unless she's
Chop
saying
and Drop
that
is aggressively attacking the
she
hashtag
could be making
right
a
now.
comment on Kenny's collection saying that it's so weak. That's not that it's frail.
Oh, that's
but
almost
I doubt
hurts
it.
you to say that, doesn't it? There we go. She's
It's
in there
impossible.
now.
The words were beating up the inside of my mouth as I spoke them. All right, I'll give you a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, and that's that. Let's grab our comments, and we have 11 entries. So we will go ahead and draw. Who is our winner? Topius Family Unlimited Company, or comics, probably is what it says. It is. All right. Congratulations. All right. So let's go ahead and I will make myself big. So for the pools, and because technology. All right. So Kenny.
Yep.
Yeah. The way we do this is you can.
I know. I've done this before.
That's right. You filled in
subbed
before.
for Chris one time.
Phenomenal.
Oh, okay. Very good.
How should we do the first pool?
Third from the end on the right.
From the front or the back?
Well,
we don't really go. I can't go
from
this
the
way.
end on the back.
Third from the back. Got it. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. So the third from the back counts as one pull. It's actually Archer Armstrong, Volume 1, issues 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The original complete story arc. Archer and Armstrong from Valiant Comics. Look at that.
Wow.
A 5-issue run all counts as one. What a frickin' pull. All right. Next up, Kenny.
Third from the other end.
From the front. Got it. Third from the front, we have The Incredible Hulk, issue number 401.
Who's he fighting?
I don't read the Hulk, so I have no idea. It could be Doomsday for all I know.
It's like Silver Hulk.
Doomsday.
One leader is mourned, one leader quits, yet another leader is born. I don't know, the leader?
Okay. Well, the leader had like a huge head.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I don't know idea. All right, well,
whatever.
Next one.
Okay, dead smack in the middle.
I say it. There, that way I didn't see what I pulled for the middle. Oh, Venom issue number 30.
Oh, wow, that's a cool cover.
Is that the Walmart exclusive?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't do Walmart packs. My Walmart packs around here don't. Walmarts don't have comics here where I'm at. I don't think. I'm not even sure where there is. Not even sure where there is a full size Walmart around here. All right.
Yep.
Going back and forth.
Yep. And stop.
How about some Fantastic Four?
Boom, there you go.
Issue number 354. First appearance of Casey, the train conductor.
Driving that train.
Big spec book.
All right, one
you
more.
all laugh, but if the FF trailer shows up and there's a train in it, guess what?
all of a sudden that book becomes freaking. All right, back and forth again.
And stop.
Donald Duck Adventures. Public Ugly #1. January, let's see, issue number 8. Newsstand. This is a nice book.
Are you having regret?
Yeah, sure. I guess because I don't really collect Disney books. It's probably the only reason why it's in this box. The only other Disney books I have in my collection are the Nightmare Before Christmas comics, and then a run of the Princess title, which belonged to my wife. But anyways, all right, cool. So, Tapias, make sure you hit me up on Instagram with the address you'd like to have these shipped to, and these will get mailed on out to you, sir. Congratulations on your pull. All right. Let's switch it back to the big old Kenny boy here who's showing us how it's done. We'll get. He's even got a big mug of coffee too. That's what I like. There.
I go balls to the wall on everything, and it has nothing to do with fetishes.
I just give him the D. It's for Dixie. It's for Dixie State University, where where a lot of my money goes every semester.
Wait, so Dixie State is in Utah?
Yes.
Even as a Canadian, I know that's just wrong.
Well, so only because you brought it up, I'll keep this short.
Okay.
So, the Dixie region, which is the southern region of Utah, was settled by people who moved out of the South, and they moved in there, and they originally started growing cotton, actually in that region of Utah. They don't anymore, and so, anyways, there's a big hubbub because its school is changing its name because it's going to become Utah Tech or something like that.
Okay.
Anyways.
Yeah, I'm from Alabama. They took so our license plates used to say Heart of Dixie. That shit was removed like 20 years ago.
Yeah, no. Well, this was a big deal. When they were voting on this, it's been chaos. Like the school wanted to do it, all the school board did because the state university went to the state Congress, and being a red state, they said no, you can't do it. You didn't tell when you told the people pick a different name, you never told them they could keep that name as an option. So go back and do it again.
Oh, man, that's some clever stuff, like evil but clever.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Diabolical.
Anyways,
Yep. All right, let's keep going.
Here to talk about the school my money goes to. We're here to talk about where my money could go someday. Avengers.
Marvel's answer to the Justice League, right?
So let's be clear. So we've seen this man's pulled out first appearance Iron Man, first appearance the Hulk, first appearance of Thor. Now he's supposed to, oh yeah. Oh, by the way, remember they all came together and played together as a team. Let me show you that one.
Yeah. Yep. So like Ant-Man and the Wasp are down here. I do have the Wasp's first appearance
somewhere.
Well, you know what?
That's all right. We believe you. Why would you lie about that at this point?
At this point now, you can say that you have you have Action Comics 1, and I wouldn't doubt it.
It's killing me now.
That's all right, Kenny. We believe you.
It's on the floor somewhere in between the other groups. But anyway, I do have it. But what I love about this is between Iron Man #1, I have the Mark 1. This one I have the Mark II, which he used the gold suit for a couple of issues, right? And then later on, like on Avengers 4, I have like his Mark III. But anyway, I don't collect villains. So this is like the only comic book I have with Loki on it. And if I ever decide to collect villains, I will get the first appearance of Loki. But my collection is primarily superheroes. The only reason why I have a first appearance of Thanos is because it's a first appearance of Drax the Destroyer, and I had to like complete the first appearances of all the Guardians. So, Yep, this is one of my oldest comic books that I have owned. It was the second high-end comic book that I got, and I paid $12.50 for this 7 or 8 years ago.
Amazing.
And we're going.
Yep, go ahead.
Another classic.
I have to step away for just a second. I'm gonna leave Chris. You continue. You can even go past this if you need to. But you guys, I'll be right back.
All right.
Yep.
Hopefully the internet doesn't go out. All right. So X-Men #1.
Oh.
This is another one that I got this at a good time before like the prices went completely bonkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I was going to say, Kenny, and it's funny you said the prices have gone bonkers. That's the book that seems to be leading the charge. That and Giant Size X-Men 1, to me, are the two biggest movers and shakers since this new bubble, if that's what we're going to identify it as, has been X-Men 1 and Giant Size X-Men. And I got to admit, the 12-year-old that's still in me is like just gushing at the fact that you have that book in your hand. That's for everyone that grew up in the 80s and the 90s that fell in love with Claremont's Uncanny X-Men, that's the holy grail. Outside of me being a Spider-Man fan primarily, I get it. Like that's the icing on the cake to a lot of big boy collections. And I think a lot of people would agree that, you may have a fantastic collection, but do you have X-Men 1? And that's a great book. That's a great book.
Yeah.
So what's your story? How did you gain this one? At a con or eBay?
This one was another eBay purchase. The same way same technique that I mentioned earlier. Get it on PayPal credit and then pay it off over a 6-month period.
Right.
I decided at one point to get out of the comic book collecting thing again once I'd started again, and I got really deep into the toy game, and that was just not good. I wanted to like sell toys because there's a lot of money in the toy industry, like 80s toys and stuff. But the shipping was just eating me up, and I was losing a lot of money on that. So, like, I had a full 33 collection of the Kenner Superpower toy line. And I had like a Cyborg, and I paid like $1,000 for Cyborg and a bunch of others. So when I decided just to get out of the toys and sell a lot of those off, I put that money back into comic books. So I sold that Cyborg and a Mr. Freeze, and I bought this for just $2,000.
Oh
yeah. So it was one of those things that when the Avengers, first appearance of the Avengers was important to me. And I got this one before the Justice League. I wanted the Marvel stuff first because I always preferred that. And so I had to get the first appearance of Fantastic Four. So when I got through with that one, this was the next book that I got. And again, I was very fortunate there. This was the only 1.0 that was for sale at the time. And because the next one up was like a 3.5 or something like that.
Yeah.
And just, out of the price range, this was just in the sweet spot, So very fortunate with this one. I think this one took a little bit longer to pay off though, because it was more expensive.
Yeah.
But I
get it.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I get it. Sometimes those 95-mile-an-hour curveballs do cross the plate right where you swing naturally. And sometimes you just got to take that ball downtown. But I get it. Like my story's similar. I got myself an ASM 1, and I had a cap in price. I knew my limit, and I was going to get the best grade possible. And I think my limit at the time was 3,000 US. And the ASM 1 I got, it's a 2.0, and it was 2,700 US. But there was a 3.0, but it was 3,500. Well, do I just spend that little bit of extra more? But in the end, you got to dial yourself back and realize you're now focusing on grades, and you're losing sight of the fact it's something you've wanted your whole life.
Sure.
So I completely understand. Yep. Sometimes you have that higher grade and it's just outside your budget, and I think I can do it. It doesn't matter. It's all about the book, and it's all about the grail. And now you have that in your right hand. But yeah, man, good for you.
So yeah, I've mentioned that I'm the low grade king, and because I'm more of a quality over quantity. I know that I could sell these and get a higher grade, but the thing is vice versa. Because it's such a low grade, this can be bought by a whole lot more people.
It's a lot easier
versus it being a 5.0 or even a 9 whatever the hell.
Right. And if you need to get liquid in a hurry, you can do that with that.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's another thing I had in mind when I was buying these books. And as far as the cover goes, I think this is one of the worst covers that Lee and Kirby did, because there's no buildings, there's no amazing architectures, there's no cars or anything like. It's just a group of people, and like by this point, like Martin Goodman's like, Lee, I need another superhero team, and he's like, fuck it, I'll just do this real quick. Like this is something he did, and they did this in a total hurry, and like the cover makes no sense to me. Magneto, all right, how is he controlling Cyclops' beam? Does he shoot metal out of his eyes? And what the hell is Iceman doing? He's just
throwing a
completely
snowball.
missing.
Throwing a snowball, and Jean is just striking a Vogue pose.
Where's
There's
the
a
beast coming
go-go.
from?
It's a go-go club.
It just doesn't make any sense. It's dumb. But anyway.
But it's fabulous.
It is what it is. And we can poke fun at it all we want and downplay this isn't Kirby's best work or whatever.
I haven't seen either
X-Men
of us
1.
create one better, so there you are.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah.
All right. My second PGX book, Rob. First Silver Age appearance of Captain America, Avengers 4. And this is like my first Mark III Iron Man suit. By now, Ant-Man's Giant Man, so that crazy shit's happened. Yeah, I love this cover. But I've never understood what's up with Cap's shield. There's like this weird like
You can
shadow
see through,
across the middle.
It's the 70. Look, you can see his arm through the. Almost looks like you can see through the white bits, like it's clear, like the 70s
TV or
TV
movie
TV series.
Yeah.
TV movie with the motorcycle and the red and clear shield.
And look at the bottom. What's that? They're coming from a city. So you just give me some architecture. I just need something, Kirby. Just, besides all that amazing art, just give me some cities, some cityscapes or something.
There's my man Namor, right?
Yep. This one, I've had this on a show. Like some kid wrote all over the back, and it's like, I love
adorable.
Charlie. Nobody cares about Charlie. You've
I'm
ruined
sure
my book.
I bet you if that book belonged to Charlie and somebody wrote that on his book, I'm sure he freaking cared at that time.
No.
God damn you.
This was another character that I loved as a kid. You might want to take a guess?
Wolverine.
Not yet.
Nobody likes Canadians. Come on.
Yes. Another character that's finally getting some respect.
Yeah, and I love the Netflix show. Like, I don't remember his name. The guy who plays Daredevil.
Charlie Cox.
Awesome.
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, Charlie Cox. He's awesome. I'll never forget that.
Cox.
That fight scene in season 1 where he's in the hallway. That's one of the coolest fight scenes I've ever seen in my life. And like the fact that like they're showing him, like he's just untrained. I mean, he's trained, but he's not Daredevil yet. And just to show like just how he's just totally wiped out at the end of that scene. It was great. But anyway, Daredevil to me has always been an underrated character. He should have been more of an A-lister, in my opinion. I have thought about one day getting the first appearance of his red suit, but I don't know. Hadn't done it yet.
Here's a hint for those of you who are out there. If you'd like to get a nice Silver Age run going, early run of stuff, even though he's finally still getting it, there's an awful lot of the sub 50 Daredevil books that are stupid affordable right now when you consider how old they are and you put them against their contemporaries ASM books and whatnot. Granted, there's maybe not as many first appearances of so many people throughout it, but I mean, Daredevil will eventually, I'm sure, make his way into the MCU and
at some point, right? He has to,
right?
But I paid $800 for this. So I don't know what it's worth. It's just, I've been so busy with YouTube that I haven't like checked prices or values. I don't plan on selling. People accuse me of being a speculator. I'm not. I don't plan on getting rid of these. I didn't buy them to make money. I bought them because I love the artwork. I'm a fan. So I don't constantly check the prices all the time. Like, oh, now this is worth $1,200. That's a 79% increase. I'm like,
all right, Daredevil #1. In a
1.5.
Oh, 1.5?
Mm-hmm.
Fair market value listed at $2,200.
Wow.
June, I can't see there was a offer that was accepted, so they don't just have a cross out through it. The last completed. Let's see, May 11th, there was an auction that completed for $26.99.
Very nice.
So
Cool stuff.
there you go.
All right. So this is a book. I bought this a long time ago too. So I said that way too many times. I got to find another way of saying this. But anyway,
I've had it in my collection for some time.
The reason
Through my
I brought
collection
this,
journey.
I've had this in my collection for some time. The reason why I brought this one out today is because I've just gotten into the Titans TV show on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And oh my God, I love that show. So now I want to go off and like get the first appearance of Beast Boy and the first appearance of like Donna Troy and Nightwing and all that stuff. I do have the first appearance of the new Teen Titans, like Cyborg, Raven, and Starfire. It's down there. It's not a valuable book at all, but I love those characters. But this is the first Teen Titans, right?
Stupid
Aqualad.
affordable still, actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
I paid $300 for this, so not a very valuable one, but I just love the Teen Titans. Like even as a kid, loved them. They were awesome.
I
George
mean-
Perez.
Yeah.
He's such a great artist, right?
You can, I mean, a 4.0 just sold on Heritage for $384. So it's really
Still.
still
yeah.
a
Yeah.
stupid affordable
Undervalued
book.
book.
And it's an $84 increase in value.
I mean,
Candy,
when did
can
it-
you
when
can
did-
you read the
when did that-
details on that book before you
Yeah,
put it away?
sure.
Yeah.
Now? Okay.
Yes,
ahead.
good.
So, origin and first appearance of Teen Titans, Robin, Kid Flash, and Aqualad, Batman, Flash, and Aquaman appearances. And like, I have no idea who this crazy villain is. Like, I don't have a clue. He's got like on like, a suit from the Continental Army,
Carried in
in the
Indians
Revolutionary War with a Native American head staff.
in a
It's
tornado.
just very
yeah.
bizarre.
Yeah.
What year was that book?
64.
Damn.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would have guessed
That is
63.
criminally undervalued because
And so, this is Brave and the Bold 54. The next issue, I think it's 55. That's the first appearance of Donna Troy. So, Yep.
Hmm.
wow.
Very cool book.
now this is a book that is buzzing. Like, I see this book I get emails from Go Collect all the time. And, people are just talking about like crazy. It's the first appearance of Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And I bought one from Heritage Auctions like 2012 or 2013, and I recently got an email from someone asking me to buy that one, and I just didn't respond because I stole that thing years ago. This is my third copy of this book. I bought one at a comic book shop, raw, for like $100 a couple of years ago too, and after I started, I wish I wouldn't have sold it. I got to get it again. So I got this one for $675. Yep. And it's first appearance
No,
of Silver Surfer and Galactus.
I have no comment. I know earlier we talked about the bubble and that leading the charge of this brand new bubble of elevated pricing for books has been the GSX and the X-Men one.
Mhm.
But we also have to talk about the Fantastic Four, like 49 and 50. Like those two books too have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
People speculating that basically Galactus is going to be the next Thanos.
Mhm.
And right there too, that is such an important book. That book you just have. Yeah,
Those are
such an
three-
important book
Yeah.
historically. Mhm.
Those Fantastic Four books, like it's like the Fantastic Four were like the diving board. Like, we're gonna try out somebody, let's put them in Fantastic Four. And Kirby said like that was one of his favorite books to draw, but he got bored, and so that's why you get the Silver Surfer. It's such like an odd thing to see. And then you have the Black Panther. It's like, let's try him out and see what happens. And the next time you see him, he's the Black Leopard. So it's another interesting thing about these books is they show you like, what's going on at this time frame in the 60s, right? It's so like there are arguments back and forth. Did the organization start first, or was this the first use of Black Panther in a public forum like that? And so I argue that this predates the group that everyone is familiar with. But anyway, so another awesome comic book, right? Another great Kirby cover. It's just really cool. He's got really tiny ankles though. Yeah.
Oh, T'Challa, you and your ankles.
Yeah. You and your Achilles heels.
We found the weakness for one of the most intelligent characters in the Marvel Universe now. Tiny ankles.
Yeah. So this one, $370. And I know that after Bozeman passed away, God rest his soul, I know that these books have just blown up too. So
yeah.
And I would never even consider selling that one. You know, like I remember when Carrie Fisher died, man. The Kenner toys, the prices in her Princess Leia toys jumped almost like $100 overnight. And it's like, what kind of asshole would do that? You know, like I just don't get it. But yeah, that's another one of those books that something happens and it just drives the price up. So,
but yeah.
Well, they did that too with like when Gina Gina Carano when her character got canceled. It was all of a sudden it's like action. Oh, she's gonna be gone. Buy the action figures. It's super expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a character.
I need to go look for a Fantastic 452 right now. Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll go look for
it. This is a character I have a love-hate relationship with. I used to love him as a kid.
He's a wonderful character.
I love Peter. Spider-Man. He's such a good guy, Peter. Come on, man.
So relatable.
Yeah, I just don't appreciate what people are doing with the Punisher logo. It's not
Agreed.
Cool.
Agreed.
Yep. It's I don't want to get too big into it because I know that I have friends that are on both sides of that argument, and
it's not what this channel is all about.
Yeah, it is what it is, but
it's about sexy comic time.
Yeah. So I paid $550 for this.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I missed that with my fake anime laugh. What was that?
I paid $550 for this.
Not recently.
No, this is years ago. I've had this comic in my collection for quite some time.
All right, so the question is, how is that doing for you today? So let's take shall we take the gander? 129. Chris, you want to take a guess?
So it's a 3.0. If I'm reading it right, because I'm on my phone, does it say off-white to white, Kenny?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have anything up there.
Okay. No, under the numbering. Under the 3.0.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah, cream to off-white pages.
Okay. 1,300.
All right. So the FMV on a 3.0 is $1,250. Current listing. There is a current listing for a 3.5 that they're only asking $1,300 for. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Evil Knievel on the back.
That just makes it cool, man. That just makes it cool.
That was one of my favorite toys.
It was so loud when you revved it, though.
So the way I can remember how much I pay for these is every one of my comic books, I put a red dot on them and I write how much I paid for it. That way, if something happens to me, like I've told my wife, like if I die, this is how you get rid of my collection, and all of these have how much I paid for them. That way, someone will know that I made some good investments. That I wasn't just wasting my money.
Forget about how much you could get for it, but just remember my legacy that I invested wisely.
Yeah,
I think if they sold all your books, man, they can bury you in space. Just launch you into space and you'll be orbiting the planet.
Wait, Jeff.
They could go make a Lazarus pit so they could bring him back.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Never heard of this book. Is this
either the first or second appearance? I know one guy, his name's Steph, and he's like, that's not the first appearance of Wolverine. The first appearance of Wolverine is Hulk 180. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but CGC says this is, so I'm going to go with them.
They revise their stuff from time to time, but it's easiest just when you denote the difference between a cameo and a full appearance. This is the first full appearance versus the very first appearance, which was only in cameo.
Yeah,
in Hulk 180, right?
Yeah, last page, last panel. So again, as a Hulk fan, like I didn't get this book. There's some people like Jerry the Jitterbug. We were just talking about this Thursday. Like he bought his copy when he was a teen, and I wasn't even born. No, this is from '74. He said it's his copy from when he was younger, so he must have bought it at a con or something. But yeah, so I would have loved to have had like a raw book like this as a younger kid and then had it graded, but no, not for me. The books I got when I was a kid were all hand-me-downs and a lot of DC, but it's an awesome cover though.
Yeah, it's legendary. I don't think there's a better word to describe 181.
Yeah.
It's just legendary.
Yep.
That book there is one of those books that is now, if you were to sit there and based on what FMV is when you follow it, it's more than $1,000 per grade.
Wow.
So that book's sitting at in a 3.5. Actually, it's right at the FMV is listed at 3,500 right now. So
Wow.
$1,000 per grade point.
I paid $1,100 for this.
The last sold on July 19th was $4,000 on eBay.
Whoa. Sweet Jesus.
And wait till it gets recasted.
You know, it's going to be like if they ever decide to recast Iron Man, because like, I don't know how you're ever going to tap, like, you can't outdo Hugh Jackman. Why would you even try?
You just got to go a different way. You just got to go a different way.
As long as you don't try to be that same character.
Right.
And
you just got to be different.
We as movie going fans have to just accept, look, these comic book characters throughout their runs from writer to writer shift within some confines of their personalities and how they respond to certain things and all stuff all the time. So we as and their appearance even shifts. So we as fans have to understand that, hey, you know what? If we want these movies to really continue, we can't have 80-year-old Tony Stark sitting there. Realistic. Let's dial this back for a second and let's go ahead and allow ourselves to recast roles without having to reboot stories.
Yep.
That's the thing that drives me crazy. It's like you start to get to a certain point in the story, and then it's like, oh, we got to change our actor on our Batman, so now we have to reboot and retell the origin again. No, I don't need 17 freaking origin Batman movies. Just keep telling me a new story. And
look at James Bond.
Yes,
James Bond, they don't tell an origin story every time. But I will say, like, Roger Moore was way too old. Like, A View to a Kill, it was creepy with him and like that woman. But anyways, like there's a time where you just need to let it go, right? And Robert Downey Jr. was smart to walk away when he did, because I know they've offered him bajillions of dollars just to stay, but you just don't want to fade away,
Right, depending on how you want to do it, and obviously I think this is the great opportunity that they have with introducing the multiverse to be able to bring in new actors and stuff into different things, but we'll see. All right, cool.
So I got 2 left for you. Woo-hoo. And if we finish those and you want to talk about
are we going to stay in the 60s?
No. So I've showed golden. I've showed silver. Okay. We just did bronze. I've got one more bronze, and then I got a modern. But as you can see behind me, I got a bunch of other first appearances. Like, this is a first appearance of Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch.
On a show again in another show in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want to talk about that Strinko Fury that you have there too.
Yeah, that's the origin of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I'm all about first appearances, but I love Steranko's art, and I wanted one of his pieces that was significant, so I went with the origin of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Cool. Yeah, but we'll definitely sync up so we can get you on another show again in the future. Show off some more of your wonderful, wonderful collection. All right,
I'll keep on moving.
This book.
All right, so got to have the giant size X-Men #1.
I'll tell you what. I know that this book is just bothering you, that it takes up space on your wall. So I'll go ahead and give you $500 for it.
Sure, it's a deal. Okay. But yeah, this is another book
it's an unsigned deal.
No, I do not own a shop. I'm just a private collector. But this is another comic book that I had to have. Like, I wanted an AF-15, but I had to have the X-Men giant size X-Men #1. Because I've said this before. Nightcrawler is one of my favorite characters. I love Nightcrawler. Colossus, man, I wanted to be him too. Like, I was all about the strong men, like Hulk and Colossus and Beast and Storm. What an amazing character. The idea to take the X-Men from a domestic group to an international group was one of the best decisions they ever made. And so this book is so fucking cool.
Yeah. She was, matter of fact, my wife gave me great amount of chastising that she did not get drafted by any of us during the fantasy draft.
Well, I took her husband,
including me. So, yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right, Kenny. It was.
She just walked out of the room. Walked out.
It was. I can imagine Marvel being scared shitless about the idea of an international group.
Mhm.
But these characters, everyone you're holding your right hand there, they're household names now.
Yes.
And they were
Yeah.
household names even before the cartoon launched in the late 80s, early 90s, which, became its own phenomenon as well. Uncanny X-Men, like again, like how different would so many people's lives be in regarding pulp culture if that book in your hand was never released in the 70s?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because the 90s
that's a
cartoons.
foundation piece. Yeah.
Yeah. My 90s Toy Biz toys, all these characters, the 90s cartoons. And when seriously, the 2000 movie they're boom, right off the bat, they're bringing out Storm and Wolverine, and Rogue, which I didn't really understand that at that point. But still, these characters are just as important as the first X-Men from issue number 1.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If I ever get another old school X-Men like that, it'll be like X-Men 94, where they swap over and become the new team.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I don't plan on getting any more old X-Men.
The all new, all
it'll
different.
Just be the newer ones just for my personal enjoyment.
Before you pull the
last one I have over here in front of me. And
hold on. Question for you. So how long have you had that Giant Size X-Men?
I don't know. I'm gonna ballpark it at probably 4 years.
Okay. And do you have it written down on that one? What you paid for that one?
Oh, every one of them. Yep. I paid $820 for this.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And so that's a 4.5.
Yep.
So the last Heritage sale was actually a giant drop off. Sold for $28.80. Prior to that, in the same month, it was $3,600 and eBay $3,800 and $3,600. So the last Heritage auction, somebody got a
somebody
deal.
Ripped off. Somebody ripped off.
But because before that, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the last 8 sales were all $3,600 or more.
Whoa!
So that book has gone appreciated for you very well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check this because I did a top 50 comics in my collection, and I based that off of what I paid for them.
All right.
Anyway.
All right.
Last but not least,
you've taken us right to the edge. We're at that point where we're just about to really blow it. So go ahead and take us home here, Kenny.
And I bought this for my daughter. She's a huge fan of Spider-Gwen.
There you go.
So it's a book that everybody's seen. It's everywhere, and it's a first print.
First print's the best print.
Yeah, and I know there's bajillions of 9/8 for sale on eBay. I only paid $500 for this. But I didn't want to pay that. I honestly did not want to spend $500 on a modern book.
Well, that's 9.4 though. But
yeah, but my daughter loves this character. She loves her so much. So I'm like, all right, fine. So it's hers, and then it'll be hers one day. I just keep it down here for just to make sure it doesn't get destroyed. My son's a big fan of Miles Morales, and I got him one. But I bought a raw copy of Ultimate Fallout. It's in CGC limbo right now, and I should get it back in the year 2030.
Unless you fast track.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a great character. It's amazing how popular she's become. She just totally resonates with the female audience today. Just like Miles Morales. And those two characters are worth it to me. I rationalized it every way I could not to buy those two books because it's there's thousands on the CGC registry. There's no point in paying that money for one.
Wait, just because
I'm waiting for the bubble to pop, and so I just keep watching the prices go. So you know what? I'm just going to get one now and just swallow any loss that I may have one of these days.
Well, so it's not a loss, right? So that 9.4 is listed FMV on it at 625.
Oh, that's not bad.
For the first print. So, there you are. Granted, yes, there are 2,600 9/8 blue label copies, 3,000 copies on census there, and another 1,500 9/6s on census. But no, that's how I was too. I mean, with not so much with Spider-Gwen, because for whatever reason, I really kind of got like Spider-Gwen, and really kind of get in. And I'm actually kind of irked that I don't have. I've got so many other things I keep chasing that I haven't chased yet a first print copy, and it's like the shame for me, the fact that I'm always taunting first print was better than no print, or first print or no print, and yet I still only have a second print hanging on my wall. But
yours is autographed though, right?
it is signed and remarked.
See,
yeah,
that's awesome though.
So second print signed and remarked in a 9/6. But at the time, it was one of those things too, where I was on a budget when I was looking to acquire, and it was the difference in price. And I said, well, if I can get a signed and remarked at second print at that price versus what it would have cost me for a first print, I was like, okay, well, that seemed like a no-brainer at the time. And I don't get me wrong, I don't dislike this book. I still will come circle back to the first print on that book at some point. But Miles Morales was the same way. I never he just never really appealed to me. I don't read his book today. I don't collect his book, but I finally got to the point where I recognize, look, he's not going away.
No.
He's a staple, and his keys are going to be the next keys 30, 40 years from now that are super big. And so I did pull the trigger on a UF4 first print about a year and a half ago, just before it really took off. So I was able to get a 9/6 that was signed by Clayton Crane.
Oh, that's cool.
For 300. And of course, obviously, it's worth a lot more than that now. It's off at CGC after having gotten Bagley to sign it, so now it's a double signed book.
That's cool.
But yeah. It's a journey, man.
My 5-year-old son just loves Miles Morales, and when we watch Enter the Spider-Verse, he's like, "This is awesome," because it's cartoon, so it's totally relatable to him. And
well, it's that younger thing, guys, right? It's like, I mean, I understand it. Peter Parker, Spider-Man. I mean, he was younger when we were reading him. You first got, I don't know what your age when you first got in it. For me, I didn't start reading comics until I was a freshman in college. So,
oh wow.
So for me, when I started reading Peter Parker, he was about that. He was just out of college still in the comic realm of things. He wasn't that much, or I guess he'd been out for a little bit because he'd been married at that point. But he wasn't that much older than me. But his story was very relatable, and now as he gets older, and they start to give some new things. Yeah, I mean, granted, can't relate to my wife not forgetting who I was and all this other garbage that they've thrown at him, but exactly. But
still better than
but I mean, I can understand how the younger generation don't see Peter the same way that we do, and instead they see Miles Morales because he is theirs, much in the same way as I almost see Miguel O'Hara, because that was actually the first Spider-Man book I started reading was
Spider-Man
2099, right? I mean, so I was reading regular Spider-Man at the time he was in the Fantastic Four title, because he was filling in temporarily over on that other Fantastic Four team right before the infamous Wolverine Ginsuing Thing's Face fiasco, right? Just to put us all in there. Anyways, Chris, are you going to whip out your thing again this week? I don't even remember what thing that was. Oh, you haven't whipped out your ASM 1 Stein by Stan Lee. That's the one that you keep whipping out over and over again.
No. When an AF-15 shows up, I don't pull out my ASM 1.
He knows.
Nope. I don't do that.
Like,
no.
I'm not gonna pull out the little 2-inch.
Nope.
Are you familiar with the phrase "hold my beer"?
Yeah, I'm like, I understand where I am right now, and
no. Do you have it next to you, Chris?
I do.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Oh, okay.
Because I love that artwork it's a similar kind of artwork for what Ditko was supposed to do for AF-15, but Stanley they were like, we need something like to show him from this other view. Yeah, so I like that view, but it humanizes him. It makes him vulnerable.
Yeah, and one of these days I'm going to find out that these shoes are still available. But yeah, the
Which brand is it?
it's Mason.
Oh, Mason shoes. Yeah, they are still available. Pretty
It
sure.
there was once a time I thought, my God, this is such a horrible cover, especially when you compare AF-15's cover, which is just iconic.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I can say about this book,
if Caps didn't take you over the edge, Chris is here to finish you off.
right? The one thing I can say about this, of all the Spider-Man covers that are unnecessarily homaged all the time, I'm glad this one doesn't get homaged that much.
Yeah, and
No,
again,
it's-
look at the Fantastic Four. It's like they
Right.
had no faith in anyone. It's like, well, we got to put the Fantastic Four on there to legitimize it, you know?
Well, they throw the Human Torch right up front because
Yeah.
they're trying to sell Johnny Storm, the cool teenager, to other teenagers, and that's why Peter's a teenager as well. But yeah, it's like Kenny will attest for his entire collection. At least I got one.
Amen. I don't have one of those.
A quick search confirms, sir. Mason shoes are still available.
Okay.
All right. It's that time again for another pool. Let's go ahead and bring in our magic add to the stream here. Oh, I need to come thing. So yeah, so let's just go to our magic giveaway tool and we're gonna go hashtag in your face. So there you go. Hashtag in your face, because that's what just happened to all of us. I mean, Kenny, I mean, my wife has been sort of listening from the other room. She's sitting there just going, damn. So we're all very, very impressed. I mean, like you said, it doesn't matter always what the grade is. That's it's about getting the book in your collection, and that's and you got to find that spot where you're comfortable in price.
Yeah,
So the same thing with like
true.
I like Adam Strange.
Yeah.
And now I don't have a first Adam Strange yet. Right. But I did like recently pick up the Mystery in Space where he takes over the title. And that book is a book that gets up there in price. I end up getting myself a 3.0, because that's where you could get in there and be happy and live with. And it has, if you find the one that's marked down, especially, if you're looking for something that displays well, there's like we've said over and over again, depending upon what the reason is, you can get some amazing looking 3.0s and 2.5s and even 1.0s.
Agreed.
I've seen some of them where it's just like, really? But it's all about what sometimes those limiting factor is. All right. Chop and Drop's putting a weird in your face. You have to put a hashtag in front of it or it won't count there.
He did it already.
Oh, did he? All right.
He's just having fun.
Yeah, up there. Okay. Yeah. He's having fun. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and give us 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Collect our comments. We have 11 entries again. Great. Which is interesting because I show 10 viewers.
Some good retention right there.
People ebb and flow throughout the show, which is fine. It's a long show, but it's fun. Free Energy is our winner. All right. You know what? I forgot to label that first batch. Those were batch 1 was Tavius. All right. And then 2 is Free Energy. All right, so Free Energy, same as always, as I've said before, you're going to reach out to me on Instagram. A link is down below, and get me your ship to address, and we will then go ahead and get your books out. But what books are they? That is the question, and that's the answer that Chris is going to give us. All right, Chris.
Okay,
how are we picking?
Since Kenny pulled some heat with the Fantastic Four, I believe he showed three Magnificent Grails. Let's go 4 from the front, 4 from the back.
4 from the front. We have something in Mylar. Sorry. I love this cover. Marvel Premiere Man Wolf.
Man Wolf.
Number 45.
Wonder how hairy his shower is.
His you're just thinking like a dad right there. How much?
Yeah.
How hard is it to keep those drains clear?
Oh,
Yep.
the money in Drano that must be being spent.
That bar
3,
soap.
4. All right. Number 4, Adventure Comics. 2 stories in one.
Very
I always
good.
like Aquaman. I've always felt sorry for him.
All right. In honor of 1963 being such a key year, let's go 6 from the front.
No, 63 from the front.
Yeah, that's not that
6
quick.
from the front.
All right.
And
So we have
looks like
Avengers
an Avengers
number 200.
Awesome.
Oh, very nice.
That's a busy cover too.
Yeah, nice
And
round number.
3 from the
Covers,
rear.
always good. And 3 from the rear.
3 from the rear.
Modern book, Web of Spider-Man, issue number 4.
Very good. I thought that didn't that come out this week?
Came out very recently, yes. Somehow I
Okay.
ended up with more than one copy.
Okay. Let's do a little front to back, Rob. And now, right at the back.
Cyblade She. The Battle for Independence. Cool. Number 1. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there we go. Oh, righty then.
Boom.
Woo,
That
little
Avengers
pullover.
was a big book.
Avengers 200. Yeah, there's a few issues ago too. God bless America and Canada. What the hell? Why should we be? Yeah, you guys say that. You guys.
We
God
need
bless
blessings too
Canada.
up here, you know.
We
God
need
bless
blessings
North
too.
America.
There we go.
Instead of a swearing, do you guys ever say that, or you guys go God bless America too? Because that's very funny. You go God bless America, fuckers. All right, cool. Well, Kenny, I mean, I've said it once, I say it again. You know, I looking at some of these slabs you guys pulled out. You know, I was all excited about this show, but you guys just all, you know, even Chris came here and flexed all over me, and Kenny came on here and
showed us who's boss.
Yeah, and I love it, and this is great. I mean, because it's a great chance to get to see some of these things and either go, wow, I'm probably not going to ever have that book, or go, wow, maybe I should go get that book.
Maybe you should. It's possible.
No, they all
Excuse
are.
me.
I mean, just stuff. I mean, yeah, you've seen it. I mean, fire books, you know, fun stream guys. I mean, great. So this is always, you know, great time here, guys, and I really appreciate you coming on, Kenny. We definitely want to message you. Definitely want to see about when we can potentially get you back on again in our schedule. So we can take a look at what else you got on there. Tell everyone real quick, if you don't mind, show them how you configure your setup for hanging books on the wall there.
Sure.
As I started to almost remove you by mistake.
Well, it's actually simple. I believe it's my second or third video I ever published, probably second, but it's just J channel. They're configured chronologically. So that top part that begins my golden age period, and that first appearance of Gwen Stacy is down right over here. So that's the way it goes. That's why that middle section up there is gone, because the bulk of what we talked about today is that Silver Age goodness, right?
Yeah.
And that really is the sweet spot. And so, yeah, and it's a shame because like so many books behind me, they're unseen. Like I have some really good books back there, really good bronze, but you know, it's just not valuable as much as like this fat stack, right? And so I just wanted to bring the heat, man. You know?
No, absolutely. No, and I understand that, because that's the thing, joy I always balance with my wall, right? Is like, okay, there's way more books on the wall than show. But like, what do I want to have be in the show combined with my OCD of like, how do I want to group them versus, you know, everything else? So that's always a fun challenge. So I'm curious because I've never used the J channel, and I know a lot of people do because it's fairly inexpensive, easy way to do it. Is yours set up in a way where you're able to take the books out from the middle at all, or do you have to slide everything off to get to a book in the middle?
Yeah, so that was designed with that idea in mind to be able to take it out whenever I needed to on this wall. But I did it myself, and there are some spots where it's tighter, and so like I do have to slide some books
Okay.
out. Yeah,
But
but like
that's okay to slide one or two to be able to
sure,
get some out versus
yep.
having to slide. I need to get this one book off. Of course, it's desert. I got to slide 15 books
No.
off to get.
Yeah.
But like my PGX books are a good half-inch shorter than CGC, so I have to stack stuff underneath that. Like I got just sheets of plastic, and
A
it
piece
like
of cardboard or something.
yeah, yeah, it's just anything
Oh,
to just bring it up
just to shim
because
it up.
Yeah.
all right now.
No, I understand
Okay.
that. I mean, that's a problem even with the comic mounts, right? They're adjustable, but once you put because I had put them on the wall, once you put them on the wall, it's kind of at that's where it's fixed, right? Unless you're gonna, and I don't use screws, I use command strips, so I could pull it off and put new command strips and everything else, but for the most part, it is. But so I use, on these anyways, at least I just got. I would make myself normal size for like all the rest of us here. I just use these big rubber bands that I put around it, and it's enough to keep the book. I can use it to hold the book up against
Enough tension.
the lips. Yeah, to keep it from flopping around.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was just curious. All right, guys, that was flipping amazing. Yeah, Chris and I are both spent. Kenny, thanks again so much. Really
problem.
appreciate you coming on.
I need a smoke.
And you've been threatening to bring me back. I tell you, if I do come back, it won't be anything like this. These are definitely the cream of the crop. So everything else.
That's what Chris said the first time too, and then he came back with some more ridiculousness and everything else. So to each his own on that for sure. But that's definitely a journey in history. So guys, until next time, collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody.
Station.
Me. Just a fat man with fat stacks of comics, and these gentlemen not quite as fat, but they also have fat stacks of comics and probably fat opinions too. Thanks for watching all.